أشهد
أشهد
أن
أن
لا
لا
إله
إله
إلا الله
إلا الله
وأشهد
وأشهد
أن
أن
محمد
محمدا
عبده
عبده
ورسوله.
ورسوله.
الله أكبر.
Assalamu alaikum. Brother and sister, welcome back to Islamic Notes channel. Insisting on searching for alleged satanic verses in the Quran, Muslim convert Bobby actually declares his faith. Bobby Risto, 30 years old, is a German-born man. He is of North Macedonian descent. Formerly, North Macedonia was still under Yugoslavia, and his ancestors were Nazi slaves who embraced communism. Previously, they were Orthodox Christians, so they secretly carried out baptisms because other religions were prohibited at that time. Despite being religious, Bobby admitted in his YouTube podcast with Jan, who is also a convert from Slovakia, a Yantha Slovak Muslim, that he does not really practice his religion. This is because his family adheres to secularism. When Bobby was 20, he began to get involved with psychedelic drugs. He even went to the Amazon to find ayahuasca, a sacred drink considered by certain groups in the region. Before converting to Islam, he never even thought that he would read the Quran in his life, especially as an Orthodox Christian. Islam has a troubled history in the Balkans. Islam has always been the enemy of Christians. Most Slavs in the Balkans are Orthodox. Albanians and Bosnians are mostly Sunni Muslims. There have been many conflicts between Slavs and Albanians in the past. As a Macedonian, he grew up hating Albanians because Albanians were their enemies. Of course, there is a big history in the Balkans that Macedonia was under the Caliphate under the Ottoman rule for over 500 years. Then that sparked more anger towards Islam, towards Muslims. This is why I never wanted to read the Quran. I hate everything related to Muslims. Especially in Germany, where I grew up, I was surrounded by a lot of crimes spread by foreigners who were Muslims. That made my view of religion even more negative, and he said. But when visiting the Amazon, Bobby found the oneness of God there. Since I was a child, the oneness of God was undeniable. Once I returned to Orthodoxy, I was faced with the unknownness. It was the first time I questioned my religion, he explained. In his search, he discovered the vegan lifestyle, which led him to Buddhism, Hinduism, and other pagan religions. He also became interested in the occultism of the Mayan calendar, although he has not given up his religion for the past 10 years. He started living nomadically in 2014. He left Germany and went to Australia, then Indonesia, Thailand, then back to Australia and New Zealand, then to South America, precisely in Machu Picchu, Peru. He felt that many places visited with different cultures, but religion was just a cult. Until one point he felt longing for the existence of God. Bobby then began to search in his religion, but there were many questions in his religion that even when he asked his father, he could not answer spiritual questions, especially about non-oneness. For 2 years he delved into it, but the longer he searched, he did not find a reasonable answer. Then he found that many of his followers asked him to read the Quran. Plus, he started watching videos of people who were anti-Islam, one of whom was David Wood, who considered the Quran to be a verse of Satan. But on the contrary, he was amazed after opening the Quran for the first time, that it turned out that the answer to the question was in the Quran. First, he was surprised that every letter he read always began with praising God. For him, this is important because praising God is a form of self-servation that he is the one. Then several verses from the Quran that attract attention include many verses which state that if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala willed, he would create just one people. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not do it. Another verse answers the reason, Al-Ma'idah, verse 48. He did not find what David Wood called the satanic verses, but they were full of simple clues. Since then, Bobby began to believe that the oneness of God is true, only he still needed time to study Islam more deeply. He began to study hadith from various sources. Until then, some time ago, with a strong determination, Bobby took the Shahada. Through his latest video upload on his YouTube channel, Bobby is seen reciting the Shahada in front of Sheikh Utsman Farouk in a mosque. Who would have thought that the initial intention to reveal the evils taught in the Quran would eventually lead to the truth in his life? Man converts to Islam, after searching for satanic verses in the Quran. This is the story of a German man named Bobby Risto, 30 years old, who challenged the verses of Allah until he converted to Islam. This man is of North Macedonian descent. The former North Macedonia is still under the rule of the state of Yugoslavia, and his ancestors were Nazi slaves who joined communism. They used to be Orthodox Christians and were secretly baptized because other religions were banned at the time. Although he lives with a religion, Bobby admitted in his YouTube podcast with Jan, the Slovak Muslim who also converted to Islam from Slovakia, that he actually does not practice his religion. This is because his family is secular. In his 20s, Bobby began to get involved in psychedelics, even daring to travel to the Amazon just to find ayahuasca, which is considered sacred by some in the region. Before converting to Islam, he had never even thought of reading the Quran in his life, especially as an Orthodox Christian. Moreover, in his view, Islam has a bad history in the Balkans. Islam was the arch enemy of Christians at that time. Slavs in the Balkans were Orthodox, while Albanians and Bosnians were mostly Sunni Muslims. In the past, there were so many conflicts between Slavs and Albanians. As a Macedonian, he grew up hating Albanians, as they were considered enemies. Of course, the Balkans have a great history, as Macedonia was under the Caliphate for over 500 years under Ottoman rule. This sparked a lot of hatred towards Islam. He admitted that he never wanted to read the Quran. Bobby also really hated everything related to Islam. However, when visiting the Amazon, Bobby found the oneness of God there. This was the first time Bobby's heart was touched, and he questioned his own religion. In his search, Bobby discovered the vegan lifestyle, which led him to various religions such as Hinduism, Buddhism, and others. He was also interested in the occultism of the Mayan calendar, although he has not left his religion for the past 10 years. He started his nomadic life in 2014, leaving Germany for Australia, then Indonesia, Thailand, and then back to Australia and New Zealand. Then to South America, specifically to Machu Picchu in Peru. He felt that many places were visited with different cultures, but according to him, only heretical sects were often encountered. Until one day he felt a longing for the existence of God. Then Bobby began to deepen his religion. However, there were many questions in his religion that he could not answer in spiritual matters, especially his resolution about the oneness, even though he asked his father. He tried hard to understand all this for 2 years, but the longer he searched, the less he could find a reasonable answer. Then he noticed that many of his followers asked him to read the Quran. In addition, Bobby then began watching videos of people who opposed Islam, including David Wood, who believed the Quran was the devil's verse. But what he found was the opposite. He was amazed after opening the Quran for the first time. It turned out that the answer to this question was in the Quran. First, he was surprised because every letter he read always began with praise to God. This is very important for Bobby because praising God is a form of self-service or servitude that he is one. Then some verses of the Quran that made Bobby amazed include the many verses that mention that if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wills, then he will create only one nation. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not do that. In another verse in the Quran, Bobby found the reason, namely in the letter Al-Ma'idah, verse 48. Bobby also could not find what David Wood called the satanic verses, but it contained many simple instructions. From that point on, Bobby began to believe that the oneness of God was true. He just needed more time to study Islam further. Bobby wanted to know more about Islam. He started studying hadith from various sources until Bobby made a firm confession some time ago. Bobby uploaded his latest video to his YouTube channel and said the Shahada in front of Sheikh Uthman Farouk in a mosque. That is the guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Who would have thought that Bobby's bad intention from the beginning to reveal the evil and mistakes taught in the Quran would eventually lead to finding the truth in life? Famous YouTuber Bobby's Perspective embraces Islam. YouTuber Bobby Risto, or better known by his YouTube account name, Bobby's Perspective, has finally converted to Islam. Allahu Akbar. Our brother Bobby from Bobby's Perspective YouTube channel, who has been making reaction videos to Islamic content, has taken his Shahada with Sheikh Uthman. May Allah bless and guide him. Ameen. Allahu Akbar. Our brother Bobby from Bobby's Perspective YouTube channel who has been making reaction videos to Islamic content, has taken his shahada with Sheikh Uthman. May Allah bless and guide him. Amen. Reported from the A Muslim Daily account, Tuesday, 21/03/2023. In the Twitter account belonging to A Muslim Daily, Bobby is seen reciting his shahada in a short video lasting no more than 2 minutes. Sheikh Uthman first explained about a person's luck when he has recited the shahada. Ari, life has a purpose, and the purpose of life is to first and foremost recognize your Creator and then to worship Him. The day you do your shahada is the day you come back to your purpose. Life has a purpose, and the purpose of life is first and foremost to recognize your Creator and then to worship Him. The day you do your shahada is the day you come back to your purpose of life itself, Sheikh Uthman explained to Bobby in the video upload. Sheikh Uthman also explained that the day a person recites his shahada is a more important day than his birthday, wedding day, or the day a person becomes a millionaire. Because wealth will end in this world, but the guidance that a person receives when he utters the shahada, then he lives with it, does not only give him luck in the world, even to the grave and the day of retribution. A moment before saying the creed, Sheikh Uthman made sure Bobby was ready to do it. And Bobby's perspective also said, "More than ready, it has been a long time coming." Bobby replied firmly. Another account that contains the same news, namely Bobby's perspective's conversion to Islam, belongs to Ask a Muslim, stating that finally Bobby's perspective accepted Islam as his religion. After so long research for the true religion, the famous YouTuber, Bobby, has reverted to Islam with Sheikh Uthman, tweeted Ask a Muslim on the Communism account. Tuesday, 21/03/2023. The news was also confirmed by the students of Sheikh Uthman page account, which shared a photo of Bobby Risto with Sheikh Uthman. In addition, Bobby's personal YouTube account perspective also shared a moment of himself reciting the 2 sentences of the Shahada with the title My Shahada, Christian Becomes Muslim with Sheikh Uthman ibn Farouk, Tuesday, 03/21/2023. According to the explanation from the YouTube account Ayatuna Ambassador, Bobby's journey to get to know Islam began because he was tempted by the incitement of Christian apologist David Wood, who wanted to find the devil's teachings in the Koran. But Bobby found the opposite. The Koran repeatedly warns about the devil. The Koran explains how cunning the devil is. It also warns you about the devil and glorifies God, said Bobby in a video uploaded by Ayatuna Ambassador's YouTube channel, titled Allahu Akbar. Long waited, Bobby finally converts to Islam, Story of a Convert, Tuesday, 21/03/2023. Bobby is known as a YouTuber who actively provides positive responses to Islamic teachings. The German man is very interested in the teachings of monotheism in Islam. He is known to have previously been an Orthodox Christian. I believe in one God. For me, that is clear and obvious. I also believe in the concept of divinity in Islam, and it is impossible for me to believe in anything other than that, Bobby emphasized in a video clip shared by the Ayatuna Ambassador YouTube account. Bobby's perspectives, reactions, and statements regarding his defense of Islam caused netizens to react and wonder why Bobby did not immediately convert to Islam. Finally, in an interview with John Fontaine, Bobby answered the question. This is a kind of my personal fear. If in the future I find something that is introduced or taught by someone at a certain point, it will destroy my faith again. I will not delay for a longer time because my time is also limited. If I do not embrace Islam in the near future, no more than 2 months, I will stop making reaction videos. This is my promise, Bobby concluded in the same video.